Hi, Warriors. First day of fall. Hope everyone has a great fall trading season. I'm telling you, it'll be better if you're in the chat room in our community. So let's have a great fall trading season. Do what you have to do to make it count. How you doing, Ingmar? AJ? How you, Brand? I see behind the curtains. Starting to scale into gold shorts. How are you, Ayaz Khan and Steve and Kman and Hugo? Saloom, how are you? Kurt Bell, everyone doing okay? All right, have the team here, have K-Man here, and hi, Mark. Uh, have Ryan here. What else could you ask for? Blake will be back tomorrow. Steve Volge's here with us for some commentary as well. So why don't we start off with currencies? Getting a bounce in euro. So, why do you guys think I put fibs up on, all of these currencies? Anyone know why? Forgot to in Aussie, I think. Any idea? All right, so let me go to Ryan. Good morning, brother. How are you?
Morning, sir. How's your weekend?
Good, man. Lots of football. Weather was fairly cool. It was nice. How about
Cool.
you? How about you, buddy?
Football was shit. The weather was
Uh,
okay.
all right, all right. So, am I wrong to be looking for retraces to sell FX, to sell euro? Cable's weaker. It's still my preferred short, even though I think EG, oh no, it's up again. EG is almost at new highs. It wants to take these highs out for
Yeah.
maybe a third drive. What do you think? What do you do with euro and cable here?
Euro, it's certainly not moving away from those highs too much. The trend's been really solid all the year. And then you compare that to cable, which actually managed. You talk about fibs. Cable managed to pull back to its 38.2 of the year's rally before
Yeah,
bouncing. The euro hasn't even come close to touching its 38.2, just keeps going higher and higher.
yeah.
But yeah, I think what we're seeing in euro sterling is pretty important if we can hold this break above 87.20.
Okay,
It's really it's the green light for a run back to those highs at the very least.
okay. Yen has come off a little bit. Yields are off a little bit. You think it's unrealistic for me to be looking for a 50% retracement to buy this currency?
No,
47-ish,
no, I don't think it's unrealistic. But I think
halfway
we
back.
are in that situation where we're just gonna, we're gonna see dips, we're gonna see rallies without actually breaking any new ground. Just we get a bit of data this week. The market's going to be all over that in terms of what it means straight after the Fed. So yeah, this one's been in a tight range, 148.80s, 146.80 down to 30, and I don't see any reason why this range breaks.
Okay. Um, BOJ doesn't meet this week, do they?
No, they were Friday.
Oh,
They
that's
stayed unchanged, but with
yeah.
two
Okay.
dissenters, so they are another step or
Okay.
two closer to a hike.
So even with the dollar a little weaker, 20 points weaker, and I'm going to try it at the 50% level here. I got to respect if USD CAD could be up 30 pips with a weaker dollar, that's a statement in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it held the dip on Friday and
Yeah.
has climbed back since, so it's still looking constructive for further upside, but it needs to short term it needs to get over this 38.20 area, 10.20, and then take on that big 38.60.70.
Okay. And then why don't we go to risk? I'm not sure why the market's down, except that maybe they kept people long over the weekend. Um, on the 4 hour, definitely diverge. I'm not sure if we're going to get one more pop. What are the big news events, market movers this week? I think there's a PCE, isn't there?
Yeah,
Uh,
PC on Friday. We got the PMIs starting tomorrow, so we get a sort of broad look at the data for September. Yeah, PC on Friday. We do get GDP, but it's final numbers and durable goods. So yeah, bit of
okay.
consumer data in there, bit of sort of producer data in there as well.
Well, what I noticed with the rest of the indices powering the new highs, the leader, which has become Russell, especially the last few weeks or so, um, had kind of a negative day on Friday. Okay, that's a daily coming in, at two for down
Hardly,
about 5.
hardly crashing.
But you know what? Compared to the S&Ps and stuff, look at the RSI. During this whole last wave up here, we couldn't get one reading over 70, which surprised me because I mean there were some very strong days. So I mean this whole thing up here diverged. So I guess we'll see. I think we're close. Someone watching my videos said 6705 in S&Ps. So we could still probably make another run up towards new highs, but momentum definitely was weak at the high last week.
Yeah. What's
Um,
that? Is that a fib extension or something up there? 6705, a trend line or
I
something?
don't know, but you know how sometimes when you're teaching or you're doing a webinar that you have some smart traders that watch them, and it's not like they need to see your videos. Just like, none of us really need to watch or hear about what you're doing or what Greg is doing, but it's an edge to hear it, to make you
Yeah.
think about what you're doing. So there's some, talented people that follow us and they throw out their ideas once in a while and I pay attention.
Yeah.
So it's someone else's number. I've heard 67 for a while, but um, we'll see. Um, we have metalheads here. We have
Yeah,
yeah, Kay.
morning.
Morning, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
All right. So new highs, gold,
Yeah,
new highs, silver.
yeah.
Uh,
Stand in
all right.
front of it.
We getting closer to a
Stand in front of
reaction.
it at your own peril. This is one, and I've been saying it for a while. I mean, the overall, of course, it's mega beat both of them. But what was very typical is that the US has joined the party as well for buying both of them, and that was what we saw on Friday as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty interesting. And Asia pushed it further. There's a lot of demand, and there's a lot of talks about shortage of supply in silver. Silver, now India joining the party as well, buying tons of it. So it's still very difficult to me, for me at least, to stand in front of it. I'm not. I've actually bought gold again overnight.
Yeah, it came in steady. You could have
Just
bought it unchanged
yeah, but
for
when I
$40.
saw it, I
Huh?
didn't. I didn't do it on Friday on a Friday afternoon in New York, but then this morning, seeing that Asia was just keeping it up and continuing to buy, I just went in again. I mean, it's I'll see what I do with it. As usual, I've already traded around a few things for 20, $30, so and that's okay. But silver is really pushing. We're actually closing in on the 88.6% of the whole 2011 2020 move lower, which is around 45.40. That's another bucket and a half away, which is the way this moves. It doesn't seem to be
Yeah, could do that this week.
you know if you take the whole move lower from 2011 to 2020, and that the 88.6 comes in at 45.40, and that's going to be the 78.6 was at 41 and a half, and but that's already in the rear view mirror. I think somewhere around 45 may start to be a bit interesting, to see if there's some resistance there. But if the importers, if if the buyers, and I'm not talking about us, who are in there with
Yeah.
our a couple of coins in silver and a few ounces in gold. That's not the real movers. But those people who really need it, if they continue to buy it, who are we to stand in front of it? I mean, there's not going to be any line, even as beautiful as it may be on a chart, that is going to hold it back.
Okay.
So yeah, I think 45. But then at 45, I think we may build in a bit of a pause. Yeah, silver.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Anything in currencies that
uh, yeah, currencies. I heard you talk about retracements. It does look like we are starting the week with a selectively softer dollar, but it's especially against euro. Euro crosses are
yeah.
big. Euro yen remains bid, euro sterling remains bid. Stuff like euro Canada, for instance, is trading back at the highs as well. They put in a decent rally this morning. So it seems that there's you have to differentiate the dollar pairs, and euro is one of the better ones. I also, in between Aussie and Kiwi, I bought small Aussie actually early this morning. I still prefer it way over Kiwi for the moment. But that's about all I've done this morning,
Okay.
Dale. I'm
That's
just
enough.
sterling, and then see what happens on the data. We will have those PMIs this week, as Ryan already said. It's going to be data watching as well, whether there is more coming or not.
Ryan, you still short US dollar max and rolled this bounce up?
Yeah, I'm still short. My core short. I got rid of all my little bits and pieces sub 1850. It's going to be important what happens at that 1850 if we get a test. But it's pretty clear the range at the moment. It's 18, 18, 19, and that 1850. And it doesn't look like he wants to attack any side right now, although it is looking a bit more intraday bullish at the moment. It's keeping its gains up there. So, yeah, this one's all to play for still.
Are you on the same page with Ryan, K?
On the mix,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's been a bit. But there's chatters around that they are going to talk about USMCA again very soon, right? So maybe the market is kept on its toes a bit, especially the Canada is behaving pretty weak. I agree on the weakness of the Canada perhaps. Mex, I'm not so sure. I'd love to see a retest of 1850 and finding out what the market wants to do with it.
Okay. Even the weakest sister Noke has bounced.
Yeah, yeah. Also, Euronoki has really bounced quite a bit, and so Dollar Noki is kept up. This I've got good levels there. We spoke about those at 10.05. I think is a very decent zone to monitor Dollar Noki closely if we get up there, and then you have your your line up there. But I've got like really on the fibs and stuff. 10.05 is a very good level. I would actually like to see a test to also know what's going on there.
Okay.
But yeah, those are things. I haven't given up on the Nokia yet. I'm very small short Euro Nokia, but I'm thinking of maybe buying the Euro dollar against it and getting back into dollar Nokia. Yeah.
With that inflation news, we should find out if the yield rise after the easing sticks, right? We should know
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah.
And again, the key area is the breakdown at 420.
Yeah.
We
Always.
get above there, and there's probably some news that is rearranging dot plots. Have they been rearranged since the Fed meeting
Uh,
anyway?
Well, the Fed have rearranged their own dots. They actually the terminal rate has not changed. They kept it the same, but it's just the path of getting there that they changed for a slightly faster path. But yeah, we still. I mean, 420 is really the pivot of
Yeah,
whatever happens on the 10-year. Still, I mean.
yeah,
I still argue that around here, as I always said, like somewhere give and take 10, 15, 20 BPs around 420, to me is still relatively neutral territory. Really has to break below 4% or go back above 435, 40 and to get going. But I'm not sure we can pick one or the other side. The issue is now that if people think that inflation is going to be persistent, the long end, so 10 and above, the yields are not going to come down because they want to have premium.
Yeah, this was bond vigilantes after the last cut, which is much smaller in magnitude than what happened here when they eased in April. I mean, within 1 day it did this. This looks feeble compared to what happened here.
Yeah, April was the announcement of the tariffs, right? And
Yeah.
afterwards you had another spike there on the big beautiful bill, and then the rest was all tariffs. But the latest move was more a worry about the jobs market. So now I would say we're finding a kind of equilibrium between an expectation of a softer job market and higher inflation. But where the next move is going to come, I really don't know right now, Dale.
Okay.
I don't.
All right.
I have no.
I know you guys aren't trading this, but
No.
what would
Coming
not
off?
this? No, this nat gas. What would you
No.
do with a chart like this, Ryan?
Well, you've got a bit of a bottom forming here over the last few days, but it isn't bouncing significantly from it, is it? You'd wait. If you want to go long, we're going into the winter. If you want to go long, you wait for that. What's that? 265 down there.
Yeah. You'd wait for lows, another low to buy it.
I mean, if you want to scout, you try it against that 285.
Okay.
But as
otherwise,
I say,
you think seasonally it's too early to be looking for a nat gas rally because winter is still a season away. It's only the first day of fall.
Only a couple of weeks. We're still in summer. A couple of weeks out of summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then we've got all this stuff going on, all these sanctions stuff with Russia and gas and everything. So it may not even dip that far if everyone's got to go rushing around to pick up US gas to fill up stocks in Europe ahead of the winter.
Stop talking about the Russians. No one's rushing around. Huh? I'm not. I can't anymore. Anyway, rushing around the energy complex. I think I've covered a lot of things.
Did you call for me, comrade?
We have a Russian in the house.
Steve's never in a rush.
Steve, so I have a bottle of Stoli on my desk right now. Let me take a shot. Yeah, so I'll take a shot while you're telling me what you think, buddy. What are you thinking here, bro?
Which market of all? Natural gas?
Yeah, I mean, energy, the whole world's bearish energy. I mean, the charts don't look great in WTI. Everyone's talking like $50 is a layup. But, it's been holding this area for a while.
WTI has definitely been heavy.
Yeah.
And of course, it's not being assisted by the fact that, things have almost completely calmed down in the Middle East. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, thankfully.
Yeah. Did you see the peace treaty between Iran and Israel and the United States? Have you seen that signed peace treaty? I haven't.
It doesn't really matter because let's say they did sign a peace treaty.
Yeah, right? It would be broken anyway if they wanted to.
I mean, do you have any doubt that, if it was convenient for any side, it would completely be broken, at any given moment in time? So
the same with the Ukraine.
Yes, exactly. So the thing, though, is it's been now several months that things have been calm.
Yeah.
It's also the fact that if somebody had to choose a side for which way the economies are headed, are they headed towards heating up or cooling down? I think the vast majority would choose cooling down, which is also, as you know, crude oil negative, right?
Right.
So all in all, I don't think that this negativity for crude is misplaced.
Okay.
Admittedly, we've gone quite some way from the 78 and a half almost highs to the 62 area that we are at the moment following the bombing of the nuclear facilities. On the other hand, admittedly,
What's it waiting for to break down already?
Yeah. On the other hand, admittedly, the move lower hasn't really been impulsive.
This move right here after the bombing, after
Okay, that first leg, obviously, but following that, things have gone slowly.
This was corrective. This is not impulsive from the high.
You have to look at the whole move.
Yeah. Okay. There.
And what followed it, right?
Yeah. The whole move has been this descending triangle going back to June. It's like 4 months of this range.
Yes.
Wouldn't you think they'd at least want to take out stops under 72 before we go? And this be a breakdown? Maybe this is how people are coming up with 50s, because call that what?
By the way,
84,
what you're looking
12.
at is USO, right?
Yeah,
crude
but
oil is at different levels. It's at 62. Yes, there is a very high correlation, obviously. No disagreement whatsoever there.
Yeah.
And, the technical formation then there is a little bit different. But all in all, I think that until proven otherwise, the downside should be the path of least resistance. I'm not enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things that look much, much better propositions than being short crude at the moment. But on the other hand, really being long doesn't seem like a good idea at all. Right?
If you look at the long term, or since the start of the Ukraine-Russia war in 2022, you look at the whole move, it's never ever gone higher than the prior big spike.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
It is indeed a long sequence
spike
of lower highs.
All those effects that cause spikes. Those big spikes always stopped lower than the prior event spike, and that's for me is still not a bullish market.
Yes, indeed. Since March of 2022, we have without doubt been in a bearish market, and the most basic definition.
That's been thrown at it.
Yeah, and the most basic definition is exactly what Kman described. We have a prolonged sequence of lower highs.
But then look at the monthly. This was when we went to negative rates during COVID, negative crude. And then, of course, and this is, Ukraine.
Yes.
Okay.
And now it all comes back to what time frame, what time horizon you're looking at. So if you look at it from the monthly, this looks like an impulsive move higher and the corrective move lower.
Right.
But, that would, and I'm in complete agreement with you. But in order for that to have any usefulness, you'll have to be like a super, super long-term investor, which you can't do in crude oil for obvious reasons, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, you could buy oil shares.
Yes, that is one way you can do it, and still you have to hold on to them for a long period of time.
And maybe get a dividend and while you're waiting.
Yes, that is true. Although you have to insert there an extra factor, right? What was the main cause, for example, that the GDX and the SIL lagged and still comparatively lagging so much to the increase in price of gold, for example, and silver? One of the more major reasons is that the increase in price in gold and silver are nominal. They don't take into account inflation, while the costs of the companies to extract gold and silver are seriously being affected by inflation, right? The costs of employing people, the costs of buying machinery, the costs of maintaining the aforementioned machinery, etc. All those are also going up as inflation is going up, right? Same thing with crude oil. We are currently at $62 in crude oil. Randomly going back in time, crude oil was also at some point at $62 in 2007. Question.
Yeah.
Were $62 in 2007 the same as $62 in 2025?
No, it's cheaper now at the same price.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
So that's why I'm
So,
watching the oil.
for example, at $62 crude oil, the profitability of companies ceteris paribus back then would have been much, much greater than the profitability of companies selling it for $62 today.
Yes. All right. I'm wondering if someone could take the screen for me for about 4 minutes so I could get ready for our interview with Andrew O'Connell. Who wants to take over the screen for 5 minutes? Want to show your stuff, Kim? Ryan, show your...
Ryan, Kman, you want to...
Okay, you can take it for change.
Okay. All right, you got it.
Okay. What do you guys want to look at?
Thank you, Kay.
What do you guys want to look at? Tell me. Do you want us to look at
boobs?
Huh?
Oh yeah. You know what Steve wants. You know what Steve wants to look at.
What do you want to look at, Steve?
He's an honest guy. I mean,
Said
at least
boobs.
Steve will tell you how.
Whoa.
Steve will tell you how he feels.
I can't do that here. Yeah. So people want to look at my crazy charts. Okay. Okay. We were talking about it oil. Okay. So that was this big move, yeah, in 2022. For me, if we want to change the whole picture, this is going to have to go at least above 70, 75, ideally 73. And then if you really want to turn around, it's only going to turn around, I think, if we break back above 80. And then that will be higher than the other spike. And then the long term will probably look a lot more bullish. But the ones that are really flying, that gold, etc. I do have an extension, and it's actually coming back a little bit right now. I do have an extension here at 37.35, but if you look above, there is not a lot that's going to hold it back for going to 38.80. And obviously, people look at that 4,000, right? It's still extremely bullish. And as I've always been telling people, there's a few easy levels here as well. The first is the 3600, but also here, that prior one, the 3500. Only if we start to go below 3500, we could possibly start to talk about a deeper correction, and then still it will be a correction until we break 3100 or so. But yeah, that's because we're getting asked this morning as well on the flow show to counter trade days, etc. But there is no real reason to counter trade it, because if you look at who is buying it, which is now, as I said, the US joined Asia as well in this whole rally up. If you have the two biggest markets buying it, apart from some technical corrections, why would we really stand in front of it and sell it? That's the question that I have. And I was talking about this long-term silver one. I'm just going to show it for the people who may not have been on the flow show. 88.6 is that 45.40, and that's the 88.6 of the whole 2011, 2020. And then I think around there's a bit in between, like this prior top here, August 2011. But I think around there we may start to think a bit, especially the speckies may perhaps think a bit. But since we've broken above this 41.60, retested and then held it, it's this 78.6. This is really, for as long as this hold now, it was 35, now it's even 41.5. For as long as we hold it, I don't see something really bearish developing there as well. Especially, as I said, it's not done by pure speculator. It's done by people who really need it. What else are we looking at? I had an interesting one, but only for the short term on the cable here. This 134 430, 35, 135, 460 has held early doors, and that may be, if you look at the traffic zone that we had in between there, yes, we had spikes below, but it has been traded quite often and quite thoroughly every time of late that we were in that zone. I think that's an interesting little zone to watch if you think that this is yet another correction in a move higher. So I would keep a bit of an eye on this level. Are you already back, Dale, or?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
I
Right.
was.
I've been asked about the Kiwi. Okay, let
Go
me show.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me show the Kiwi. And then the Aussie, and the Kiwi is a lot less attractive than the Aussie. Yes, Aussie Kiwi is higher, we know that, and that's a factor, obviously. But even if you look at the $2 pairs, the Kiwi is still a lot less attractive. To me, we have to really go back above 58.75.80 for a starter, and then confirm through 59 to start to get higher, go higher again. For as long as that doesn't happen, it doesn't look half as good as the Aussie may look, because that is really still only a correction. And we have bounced from that little springboard here that was used to go to the prior high. We have bounced from it again. So already 65.80 is interesting. But then here 65.5, 65.60 is one that I'm keeping a close eye on, actually, in the Aussie. And you can just see it's very simple that it looks much more attractive than the Kiwi. In Kiwi, and that's what I also said last week. I always look at what currencies you want to buy or what currencies you want to sell, whether the dollar goes up or down. Well, Aussie, I'd rather buy it if the dollar goes down, and Kiwi is the one that I rather sell if the dollar goes up. And with that, back over to you, Mr. Dale.
Okay. Before I go to Andrew, I just want your impression. Both of you guys. You guys are in Europe, also, Steve. What do you think about these incursions by Russian jets into NATO airspace?
Same old, same old. He's been
You
doing
think?
that for years, and he's pushing buttons now, really, because no one's doing anything. You know, Trump gave him a deadline passed, and now
Yeah.
all they're getting is a few more sanctions. So he's saying, he's basically telling everyone they're toothless.
All right. Follow-up question. I'm hearing that NATO is going to put ground troops in Ukraine, and that Western Europe, different countries are going to try a draft, and that people aren't, young men are not going to cooperate with the draft, that it could bring on some social unrest. Are you guys hearing anything like that?
Not anything
No.
serious.
Okay. All right. So that might be the next step. They're already there, I think, NATO, helping Ukrainians with the equipment that they're buying from the U.S. and using in Ukraine. In the Vietnam days, they called them advisors, but they're troops. I think they're already there
Yeah.
assisting. Okay, well, thanks, team. Great job the last 3 days. No one
Thanks,
even
mate.
knows Blake was missing, I don't think. Oh yeah,
Who?
hey guys, who? Yeah. That's great. All right, so Kay, Steve, Ryan,
Cheers, Dale.
my trading warrior brothers, good start for the week. I think it's gonna be a pretty interesting week with some inflection points. I'll say it anyway. You know, last night we had a solar eclipse. Today we have a change of seasons, and that's not as kooky as Steve thinks. I think even Steve has respect for W.D. Gann's work because, but anything astro, you name a planet and you're in trouble with Steve Volge. So anyway, Jupiter, Mars, uh, Neptune, Saturn. Anyway, let's talk to Andrew O'Connell because you know what? Last time Andrew was here, he gave you everyone a spaceship to ride. Okay, you know what that spaceship was? Cannabis stocks that have all tripled since I last talked to him, or the majority of them. So, Andrew, did that give you a pretty good lift in the U.S. investing championship?
Yeah,
The longs in that was a beautiful call. And you did it way before, Trump said anything. We had already broken out after that. Then you were on the ETF MSOS, about $2 or so, went to 6.
Yeah, what's going
Nice.
on, Dale?
Yeah,
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, I just started sharing my screen. Yeah, the MSOS stocks. Yeah,
Hmm.
those it was kind of nuts because I was getting super vocal about this, and then I
Yeah,
hopped onto your show, and yeah, these things they had a really nice run. The MSOS was basing around like this $2 level between like
yeah,
$2, fifty
yeah,
cents, 2.75.
yeah.
And now we've moved into a new price range where now we are ranging in this area between about $4.25 and now at the upper end of that range about $5.63. And you
Can
can
I
see on
ask,
my
can I ask you something? Since the run and the
yeah.
initial sell-off, look at the volume bars down there. They've like kind of gone back to sleep. Are they
Mhm.
just waiting for the rescheduling, or
Yeah, I think so.
could there be any doubt that that's going to happen that could give us one more whack back down towards the breakout at $3?
Yeah, so as I see it, a few weeks ago, Trump actually made this announcement, which is
Yeah,
really far out of the norm. Trump doesn't just like talk about cannabis and cannabis rescheduling. But he said this was from August 11th that he will make a determination over the next couple weeks. And it's been about a month. So as you can see on the chart,
yeah,
when that little news clip came out, the MSOS really just made another run. And it was
right,
in anticipation of this potential announcement. But over the
right.
last couple of weeks, I do think there's a lot of people that still have PTSD in this thing. I think there's a lot of people that are underwater on positions that they've been holding for a
Yeah,
long period of time. And in the
yeah,
absence of an actual rescheduling firm announcement that this is happening, I think we're getting some of the gamesmanship where there's some people that are really short-term traders that, of course, they're hitting out of those positions. There might be people that are a little bit more longer term that are now getting interested in the space. So now I would really just say this is pretty range bound, and we're
okay.
all waiting for that announcement.
What if we had, this has been accompanied with a strong stock market continuing to make new all-time highs, and they've been languishing for a few weeks. What if we got, say, a 5% correction in the market? Would that pressure the
It's
cannabis
definitely
stocks?
it's definitely possible. The correlation for these cannabis stocks and the MSOS ETF to the actual broad market is very low. So I was looking at
Okay.
the correlation stats, and the
Yeah.
correlation is about a zero point 0.3. So
Oh, that's good.
when the market goes down, it does pressure this group, no doubt. And at many times in the history of this group, it's been such a poor group that when the market goes down, it goes down a lot. But I'm of the belief that since these stocks are OTC stocks, like you can see over here on TradingView, I have a list of them.
Yeah.
And all of these names, yeah, you can see it says OTC real time. I think if the overall market is pretty weak, like the S&P 500, but we end up getting that rescheduling announcement, my view is that these stocks can do something
Oh,
completely
yeah.
idiosyncratic and just do something a little different.
Okay. Um, how much of your core position do you still hold? All of it?
All of it. Yeah, now
You,
in terms of
you
my
are you have the patience of Job, Andrew. That's why you're a real strong competitor in these competitions. So
Yeah, that's definitely my style. So my style is I use a lot of trading tactics and trading levels, but I know that if I try to day trade, I'm going to be competing against like Jane Street and Citadel and pretty much a whole lot of algos, and I
yeah,
don't really think I have an edge on that time frame. I think where I actually have an edge is that I think about things in terms of 6 months, 3 months, 1 year. And I
yeah,
know that most other professional investors, they just don't have the luxury of being able to do that. Like if they take a position with a 1 year view and it underperforms for the next, 2 or 3 weeks, they're suddenly under a bunch of pressure and they have pretty much have to take those positions off. So that's the space that I play, and I try to have a little bit of a longer time horizon than these guys. because I think I can actually have an edge with that.
Okay. And why can't they do the same thing?
There's a lot of pressure with those guys. Like they get judged on like a monthly performance basis.
Well, okay.
They get
You're only
judged
as
on a
okay.
Mhm.
Now I see what you're saying. You're only as good as your last quarter.
Yeah, they have a lot of constraints that as retail traders, we luckily don't have those constraints. So there's a lot of
Okay.
things we can do that they can't. And yeah, it gives us an advantage.
All right. You have upside targets. I mean, this has been above 10, hasn't it, in the old days? Just to have a correction, this could still just be a bear market rally compared to where they used to be.
Absolutely. So my first upside target is this 684, this Trump election gap fill.
Oh, that's an
So
interesting area. Okay.
yeah, so if we go all the way back in November, this capitulatory gap, this was when Trump won the election.
Yeah.
And the overarching idea was like, if a Republican wins, there's no way rescheduling is going to happen. And I think now
Yeah.
people are coming around to the fact that, hey, there's a much better chance than we originally thought. I believe that if we get the rescheduling announcement, I think very quickly we're just going to fill that gap at
Okay.
684. And then if I go out to the weekly chart, well, let me just hide these drawings. What I'm looking at, I have these market profile levels on my chart.
Yeah.
This is a yearly value area. And I believe that
Nice.
we can get all the way up to the top of this yearly value area at around $10.
Okay. So it's still a double from here. And from when,
Exactly.
and yeah, and a five times or from when you spotted it. Anything as hot as that was a very hot call. Outstanding contrarian call. Um, anything else that you're looking at? I'm sure this is not your only position in the competition. What else are you doing?
Yeah, so in the competition, I'm all in on this theme. So this right here, this company VFF, this is an international cannabis stock that's actually listed on the NASDAQ. So the liquidity is just much better in this stock. And then I also have this company RYM. RYM, I have a much smaller position in this company, but I think that this one could become like a cannabis meme stock. And this company, they're all in on cannabis beverages. And the
Mm,
beverages, I drink them all the time. They are awesome. And I really think that it's going to become a popular category. But beyond just the cannabis theme, what I'm looking at primarily over the next couple weeks is really just looking out for downside in the S&P 500. And it's primarily due to the seasonality. So let me pull up my seasonality heat map.
so you think we're on the edge of a correction here?
Yeah, I think
You think it'd
so.
be more than 5% because some people I talk to aren't expecting more than 5 to 7 because of the AD line keeps confirming, and you get the bigger breaks when they're not, when it isn't.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be anything that big. Like, I think we have nice year-to-date momentum. Like, right
Yeah,
now, the market is up 14.2%.
yeah,
And this right here is showing us the performance over the last couple of years. In 2023, up 26.2%. Then 24, up 24.9. And
yeah.
now for a third year, up, almost 15. But if you look at the last 5 months on this heat map, we are on a 5 month winning streak in the market. And
Yeah,
so far, month to date for September, we're already up 3.2%. And we
yeah,
ripped into options expiration, which was this past Friday.
exactly.
So, what a lot of people don't realize with the September seasonality is it's very easy to just look at it and be like, oh, okay, we beat the seasonality. The market's up 3.2% in September, which is awesome. But the real period of seasonal weakness is after you get through the September options expiration, which is right where we are right now. So that's why right now I think is a really good time to at least know where your
Like,
stops are for your trades and all that good
yeah,
stuff.
dare I say, take profits and not rotate into another sector? Is it illegal to liquidate a position and be in cash?
Absolutely not. Yeah, what I would be most cognizant
And
of is
to a lot of people, it feels like they'd be breaking the law to do that.
Oh yeah, and that's why most people are going to get destroyed in a correction when it happens because the market's up 5 months in a row,
Yeah,
and by the end of a 5 month row, we all have such short attention spans, just as a group, us as traders. And so after a 5 month streak, everyone's mindset is pretty much like, man, I need to start holding my winners longer. Man, I need
yeah,
to start looking at riskier, more high beta stocks. I missed out on all these. How can I catch more of them? And I believe that when the market has, let's say, a 3 to 5% dip, nothing crazy at all,
yeah.
these stocks that have a higher beta, which is why I put the beta on my chart. So I have the ATR percent on my chart, and I also have the beta. So I would just be cognizant if you're all in stocks that have a beta that's like a 2 or a 3 or something like that. If the market corrects, 3 to 5%, your portfolio could correct, let's
Twice.
say 15 or 20%. So
Yeah,
that's just
got it.
something to be cognizant of. Like, what's the beta of everything I'm holding right now?
Yeah. So, what do you like about hymns? Do you use them for hair, erectile dysfunction, or counseling?
A little of everything. No, I'm just kidding. Now, hymns. This, no, this is just an example I pulled up.
I
But
mean,
this
that's
stock,
all, men need, all of those things. Those are our biggest problem is hair. You have all your
yeah,
hair, Andrew?
I still do. I still
All
do.
right.
Knock on wood, knock on wood.
Yeah, congratulations. All right. So we won't order any of that stuff. And I won't ask you about the other either. So what do you like this to the long side? We're going to blow out if this triangle looks like we could get a breakout over 70.
Yeah, this chart looks pretty good. This is just a good example of a very high beta stock. In terms of
Okay.
some of the ones that I'm looking at, in terms of just like, things that look attractive, this China theme, I don't think it's going away. Emerging markets doing well. So this right here, GDS, this is a Chinese data center stock. And then this one as well, the more blue chip
Wow.
name,
Yeah.
Alibaba.
I saw that. Yeah.
So if we look at Alibaba, this is what's really interesting. So let me put my drawings back on. And let me take this off. So on this particular day, and this is a stock that I was trading a lot in 2024. Yeah, Alibaba develops new AI chip to help fill NVIDIA void. And this was
Wow.
on August 29th. And you
Mhm.
can see the run it's had since that announcement.
Yeah.
Now, if we look at the earnings of Alibaba on the weekly chart, the earnings growth isn't so great. So like year over year earnings growth, -9%. Year over year sales growth is 2%. But if Alibaba actually starts making money on chips in even like a somewhat similar way that Nvidia did in the China market, that's where we could really see all of a sudden Alibaba have like, wow, their earnings growth is really good now and their sales growth. And this stock
Yeah.
could have a really nice run.
All right. Compared to NVIDIA, valuation wise, is it much more um it's not as overvalued on the PE, et cetera, like NVIDIA is it?
Well, if we look, yeah, Alibaba PE ratio trailing is only 19, and they
Okay.
have a really good buyback yield. So they're doing a lot of share buybacks,
Hmm.
and then they pay a dividend as well. If we look
Yeah.
at Nvidia, the valuation on Nvidia is really not even that high. But it's really just can they keep all this sales growth? Yeah, their PE is around like a 50. They don't really
Yeah,
pay nearly as much of a dividend.
that's three times as high as Baba.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the thing with Nvidia is they have, really substantial EPS growth, really substantial sales growth. So the idea with Baba is if Baba even just starts getting some of this, like a fraction of this sales and EPS growth from those chips,
Yeah.
then could Alibaba double from here? And maybe in 2026, that's like the big winner. It could happen. So that's why I'm really just dialed in on that stock. If we do get a market correction, I'd really be looking to Alibaba.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and
Anything else you want to cover?
so this other name, let's take a look here. NBIS. This is a name that everyone's looking at right now. But this one, they got the really big deal with Microsoft, where they essentially secured like a multi-billion-dollar contract. And I do notice with this stock that that news was announced on September 9th. The stock went up like 50%.
Yeah.
And you can clearly see like there's some people that I'm sure were taking their profits in this,
Yeah.
but the stock is not falling by any
Not a,
means. So
yeah.
this is another one where if the market takes a little bit of a correction, I'll be looking at NBIS as well.
I talked to someone who his sector belief with the highest conviction going forward is our quantum stocks,
Hmm.
quantum computing. Have you looked at any of those?
Yeah, I've looked at them. To be honest,
They've
I
really made huge runs already, haven't they?
yeah, let me see. Like there's one, what is it, QUBTS? Or this might be the ETF.
And this is quantum computing is still years away, right? Years.
Yeah, so like this one, I'll be honest, I don't understand these companies. So
Yeah, me either.
these stocks, like this, I think is a really important thing with investing and trading. There's people out there that they might be like a developer and they're like an AI and machine learning expert and they followed the internet revolution super closely. They
Right.
followed all of these. And those guys are probably going to be super early on all of these trades and really just nail these things. Now, if you're trying to get in when everyone is like, super
Yeah.
excited about this stuff and now your neighbor's getting in and now your taxi driver's getting in and all that stuff, I might be able to trade that. You might be able to trade that as a momentum trade, but I would just be cognizant like this is a pure momentum trade. This thing is really running to the upside. And if you don't understand quantum computing, like I'm sure 95% of us don't,
Yeah.
then I would really just be sure to obey any stop that you might have because these things, they're the prime example. They can correct, 50%, very quickly.
Yeah.
Like let's look at
Okay.
this one real quick. So if I just take off my drawings and then let me just measure this. Like this run right here where I had a correction.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a couple days, this thing has pulled back 63%. So you have to
Wow.
be a really good trader in order to trade these because if you're not a good trader and you don't obey your stops, then
Yeah.
you can get steamrolled. So they can be great trading vehicles. If you've been in these have been amazing trades, but the difficulty level when it comes to risk management is very high.
Okay. Well, your call in cannabis gets 5 stars from last
Thank
month,
you.
last interview. And I see you're still sticking with them, and that there's a message in that too, that we're probably only halfway through if they reschedule. Um, and also looking for a market correction. Andrew, you want followers. You have a little business on the side now besides your trading where you're working with traders.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you go to
Okay.
pristinecapital.net, I have a Substack and it's pretty awesome. So I just put out my evening research every night and I do some educational articles there as well. It's a lot of fun.
And look at, I was surprised when I went over your bio again that you've only been doing this for 9 years. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think at this point I think I'm like 11 years in.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're way past, the standard answer of people making breakthroughs, usually about 4, but really doing great. If you could do this in towards the end of your first decade in the business and be, among finalists of everyone trying to win that championship, you've done very well with your learning curve and appreciate you coming in and sharing your ideas. I pay attention to them. I was liking the base in cannabis too. And when I hear about a good trader that can make a good argument about what I'm thinking about, it even gives me more conviction about my ideas. So thanks. I think that I spread your word about cannabis quite a bit and
Awesome.
also gave you credit for it when I was interviewed. So I don't pretend if even though I had the idea, you really were confirmation for me because I've seen you be right a lot. So everyone, you may want to check out. Well, you do want to check out Andrew, and you can learn from so many different things. There's so many different ways to skin a cat, but if you can learn from someone who's already performing, it's going to speed up your learning curve. And Andrew, I appreciate you coming in and sharing your ideas. And I have my pom poms out. I'm rooting for you this year to take it all.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me, Dale. These are always awesome.
Yeah, I enjoy talking to you. And it's first day of fall. When's the championship end? At the end of the year?
Yeah, end of the year. Yeah, I think
All
the
right.
August results are going to come out in a couple days.
Where are you
And so,
sitting
yeah,
now? Where are you sitting?
as of August, I was up like 119% in the money manager division.
What ranking did that give you?
I'm not sure. I'm going to find out in a couple days. There might be some
All
other
right.
people that killed it as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's your year. So
I think so too.
say that to yourself and declare it and let it manifest. So everyone take a look at Andrew on X at Real Pristine Cap and follow Andrew and learn from him. Thank you, my trading warrior brother. Appreciate it, buddy.
Appreciate it, Dale. Take care, everyone.
All right, have a great fall trading season, investment season, and everyone, that's a wrap for me. We'll see everyone for Turnaround Tuesday, and Blake will be back tomorrow. Saw some pictures, looked like he was having a great time at Ole Miss. Saw the football game. I think they killed whoever they played, and full strength tomorrow. Want to thank the team for stepping in and helping me out with F.A.C.E over the last few days. And this is going to be a real, I think, important week in the markets. So stay on your toes and keep your dukes up. And above that, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Adios.